6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malarachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Aswasuma Welfare Benefit Payment Scheme for the poor and the vulnerable will be effective from the 1st of July. The EU and FAO launched ₹1.5 billion initiative to improve Sri Lanka's paddy farming. Buses and trains to adopt QR systems in 3 months. Sunday Sitawaka Odyssey will also be available on Saturdays. In news overseas, Saudi Arabia to announce evacuations of its stranded citizens from Sudan. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policies, has issued an extraordinary gazette introducing the Aswasuma Welfare Benefit Payment Scheme. The Aswasuma Welfare Benefit Payment Scheme for the poor and the vulnerable will be effective from 1st July 2023. Under the benefit scheme, 400,000 severely poor families will receive 15,000 rupees monthly welfare allowance per family for 3 years from the 1st of July 2023, and 800,000 poor families will receive 8,500 rupees monthly welfare allowance per family. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, together with the European Union, yesterday officially launched a new program to strengthen the food security in Sri Lanka by boosting the productivity and sustainability of the paddy cultivation sector. Approximately ₹1.5 billion initiative funded by the EU was initiated at an event held at Bata-Atta Agro-Technology Park in Hambantota under the auspices of Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera, EU Ambassador to Sri Lanka Dennis Chabi, and FAO representative in Sri Lanka Vimalendra Shreran. The program targets 71,000 smallholder paddy farmers and 1,200 paddy-seeded farmers across 7 districts including Polonnaruwa, Badulla, Ampara, Matale, Puttalam, Kurunegala and Hambantota districts who were severely impacted by the recent economic crisis. The EU ambassador to Sri Lanka, Dennis Chabi, says that this will help the farmers not only to grow more, but most importantly, to grow better so that they can increase their production and income. Another aim is to protect the environment around them, gradually promoting to a transition towards greener and climate-smart agriculture. Minister Dr. Bandala Gunawardena says that the transport authorities have been ordered to fully digitalize the bus and train tickets and seat reservation using QR code system within 3 months to make the public transport sector more efficient and prevent frauds and malpractices. Dr. Gunawardena said that local and foreign proposals have been sought for 5 to 6 years to update the system to digital, but was never fully implemented as corruption is rampant in the public transport sector. The minister said that those who benefit from the loopholes in the current system are using various ways and means to disrupt the digitalization plan to be introduced in the public transport sector. The minister has ordered the officials to digitalize the system and make a productive change within 3 months with no further delay. The minister said that the National Transport Commission has been digitalized and 1,500 buses can be fully monitored from one place. It will be possible to supervise the operation of all buses in the country from Colombo in the near future. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The tourist train service Sitawaka Odyssey, which was only operational on Sundays, will also be available on Saturdays. Additional General Manager Operations V.S. Polvattage said that this decision was taken due to the increasing demand. He said the Sitawaka Odyssey Saturday timetable will differ from its Sunday schedule and will commence at 8:30 a.m. from Colombo Fort Railway Station and return from the Vaga Station at 6 p.m. The Odyssey's Saturday itinerary will also include stops at scenic locations including bathing spots. Applications have been called from investors to establish environmental-friendly projects in empty lands in the industrial zones. Ministry of Industry says that if they required lands in this matter, the applications should be handed over before the 23rd of May. The relevant application form can be obtained from the official website of the Ministry of Industry. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The Asvasma Welfare Benefit Payment Scheme for the poor and the vulnerable will be effective from 1st of July. The EU and the FAO launched 1.5 billion rupees initiative to improve Sri Lanka's paddy farming. Buses and trains to adopt QR system in 3 months. Sunday Sitawaka Odyssey will also be available on Saturdays. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this morning, the 16th Global Youth Peace Federation will be held in Sri Lanka. Around 250 foreign youth and 1,250 local youth are to participate at this federation. It will be held from the 30th of September to the 2nd of October this year. This program will be initiated by the National Youth Services Council. And that came to you as the main news segment.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And in Washington this morning, Buddhist and Cultural Affairs Minister Vidura Vikramanayake says stern action would be taken against the persons who organize indecent events at the New Year festivals. He said a special team is engaged in collecting information on such New Year festival celebration events. The Buddhist and Cultural Affairs Ministry has received information that New Year festivals that had included indecent events had taken place in several places. That came to you in Watchlight, and now let's move on to the headlines of the world news. Saudi Arabia to announce evacuations of its stranded citizens from Sudan. 3,000 people evacuated from their homes in the Russian city of Belgorod. Best-known comic character Dame Edna Everage has died at the age of 89. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Saudi Arabia has become the first country to announce evacuations of its stranded citizens from Sudan a week after intense fighting broke out between the two rival forces. The Saudi Foreign Ministry said several nationals of brotherly and friendly countries were being evacuated along with the Saudi citizens. Kuwaiti citizens are among the dozens of people brought to safety, but it is not clear which other nationals are involved. Fierce fighting broke out in Sudan last Saturday between the SAF, commanded by Sudan's military leader General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the paramilitary RSF led by Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. More than 3,000 people have been evacuated from their homes in the Russian city of Belgorod after an undetonated explosive was found. It comes 2 days after the Russians accidentally dropped a bomb on the same city, damaging houses and injuring several people. It is not known if the bomb discovered on Saturday came from the same aircraft, Russian Sukhoi 34 fighter jet. The city is located about 40 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Australian entertainer Barry Humphries, best known for his comic character Dame Edna Everage, has died at the age of 89. The star has been in hospital in Sydney after suffering complications following a hip surgery in March. He had a fall in February. Humphries' most famous creation became a hit in the UK in the 1970s and landed her own TV chat show, The Dame Edna Everage Experience, in the late 1980s. His other personas included lecherous drunk Sir Les Patterson. That was the world news.
Development news.
And in development news, an agreement to the tune of $400 million was signed yesterday to build South Asia's largest commercial and logistics hub at the center of Colombo Harbour. The public-private partnership project is a joint venture between China Merchants Ports Holdings Company Limited. That came to you in the segment of development news, and now let's move on to sports news. Punjab Kings won the IPL match against Mumbai Indians played in Mumbai Wankhede Stadium yesterday by 13 runs. Batting first, Punjab Kings scored 214 for the loss of 8 wickets, and in reply, Mumbai Indians could only score 201 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in their 20 overs. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekathiana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta setna as wahagena dekapuhina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta setna friendship ekamenna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's manufacturing activity saw a recovery in March 2023 ahead of the traditional New Year in April, along with most services, but wholesale and retail trade was down, according to a Purchasing Managers Index. Employment continued to fall with attrition and people moving abroad, according to the survey of purchasing managers conducted by the Central Bank. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And in economic news, the Central Bank report says that the usage of credit card has declined considerably during the first 2 months of this year. The entire credit cards which were used by the end of last December was 1,952,991. By the end of January this year, it was 1,942,272. That is the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the eastern, Uva, northern, north central, Sabarkamua and central provinces during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters are likely at some places. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Showers may occur in the western province and in the Gaul and Mathura districts during the morning hours too. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Asvasuma Welfare Benefit Payment Scheme for the poor and the vulnerable will be effective from 1st of July. The EU and the FAO launch 1.5 billion rupees initiative to improve Sri Lanka's paddy farming. Buses and trains to adopt QR systems in 3 months. Sunday Sidawaka Odyssey will also be available on Saturdays. In news overseas, Saudi Arabia to announce evacuations of its stranded citizens from Sudan. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your regular Sunday morning host, my good friend Shantima, to brighten up your day.